Hey, what's up? This is Chris, and today we are going to rejuvenate this QK100. We are going to put some new switches in, some new keycaps, a new plate. We are also going to update the screen. This is actually the silver screen that I spray painted black to match. So this is going to get a rejuvenation. We got some parts that just got shipped to us. We've got our keycaps here, GMK Jamon round 2. And we're going to use Gateron CM linear switches, and we also have a carbon fiber plate to replace this palm plate. So this is going to sound completely different, and you know what, we're going to top mount it instead of gasket mount it. So we're going to go from kind of chilled and muted to really loud and clacky, hopefully. So let's separate things first, because the first thing I want to do is this screen. And so what we did is we got a new screen off of the QWERTY Keys website, and we went with the white. And like I said, this was the silver screen that I spray painted black. And it's just kind of crackly, and I mean, nothing wrong with it. You wouldn't know unless you looked really close, but I think this is going to match the theme more, and so here we go. Underneath, there are 2 hex bolts holding this screen on. How does this work? Okay. So the screen assembly kind of just lifts out, and then here's the, so as you can see, it was silver and I spray painted it black. There's a diffuser in here we're going to take out and use, because the replacement does not come with the diffuser, so that's important to note. So we're just going to push that out. It's this little rubber LED diffuser, and we're going to put that in here. And there we go. So there's the new piece. And here's the screen. You know, we might as well clean this while we're at it. So there's our screen. Let's gently place it back in its home here. There we go. Now we can screw that back in. Okay. Oh yeah, looks great. Okay, we can set this to the side just for a second so we can bring this into view. This is the old palm plate, so we are also going to set this to the side for now. And then here we have our PCB. We can just put it right up there. Here we're going to get the other plate out. We're done with that. But first, let's look at this design on the inside here. We have this beautiful mountain range and trees. And then we have the tent set up, the QWERTY Keys tent with a little picnic. The sun is setting. That's incredible. I wish that was on the outside, honestly. And here it is, the carbon fiber plate. And there's the mounting points for the top mount. So if you want to top mount it, you can't do it plateless. You have to use a plate. All right. So now we're going to do a little switcheroo here. We're going to move the bottom back. I'm going to put that down. And then put this over top. Okay, there we go. All right, we're going to get the switches in here. We're going to use Gateron CMs. These are one of my all-time favorites. They're a long pole switch. They're loud. They're clacky. They're going to be perfect for this board. So let's get, and I got a bunch of them. So this board takes a bunch. So let's spill some out here. And we'll get working. We're going to use our plate fork because we are not using foam on this. So we're going to use this to keep the plate and the PCB separate. And again, I like to start in the corners. All right, so we got all the switches in on the new carbon fiber plate. It looks great. Next thing we need to do is we need to get it mounted in here. So we're going to do the top mount with this, and that requires screws, I think 14 of them, all along this to get this into here. We also need to switch our ribbon cable because we need to connect this to the screen and then feed it through and connect it in here. It's the opposite right now. So but all that being said, we need to go find the 14 screws. Those are back in the QK100 box over in storage. So let's go grab those and we'll be right back. Oh yeah, there's a ton of screws. That's got to be it. I always look at these bags. These always look like Ninja Octopus. I don't know why it's such a random. Okay, and let's do the ribbon cable while we're at it. So this ribbon cable, the connector comes out. So let's remove that. And let's install this into our screen here. Okay, and same thing here, the connector comes out. And we're going to feed it. We want the pins down. So let's feed it right in there. And then close it. So there we have it. Again, you want the blue part up facing you. And the bottom of that should be the silver sort of like pin pads. Those are what you feed in, and then you push in the connector to close it and click it. Then this way, you can feed it through this hole and put it down. Let me get our tweezers out here. And connect it just like that. So we'll do that. Let's get this screwed in first. Okay, now I was right. There was only 13 screws. There might be another one in the bag, but that's okay. I didn't want to put a screw directly under the space bar. So there's one here to the right of the stab and one to the left of the stab, but I did not screw in the one directly under the space bar. So it worked out that there was actually one less screw, and I'm sure it's in the other bag of screws. So now the last thing we need to do is connect to this ribbon cable. So again, we're going to pull the connector out, and then we're just going to feed this cable. Okay, and there we go. And then we'll connect this. JST cable. And we will lay that on top. And then screw that in. Because this is top mount, we want to make sure there's absolutely no play between the cases. and the sound can work its way through. Okay. There we go. All right, looking good. Now, time for Keycaps. Jamon 2. This is from Omnitype. All right, let's go through and put on Jamon 2. This looks so good. Oh, that fits in real good. And then this is the artisan for this set. It appears to be an egg that's cracked. This is a Hibby key. Hibby is the best. And so we'll put that on right up there. Oh, this is awesome. This came together so good. Okay. Two things. Let's plug it in and let's get the cat's eyes to light up. And then let's do a sound test because it's going to be completely different. And I'm excited to hear what it sounds like. So as you can see, the little cat eyes light up, which is cool. And I think if I do caps lock, actually turn, well, the left one turns white, and then num lock, the right one turns white. So really cool. All right, let's get our lights back on here. Here we go. I mean, what can you say? That is perfect. That's the top mount clacky sound that we're always looking for. Of course, the QK100 has it. I just never unlocked it. So, oh, I'm so happy with how this sounds. I also could always see the white palm plate as I looked down at the board. There's just enough of a gap between, you know, the keys when you look down. Having the black carbon fiber plate just blends in so much better. It really just, you don't see the plate at all now, right? And the keycaps look so clean. And the screen with the white, it just pulls it all together. So I am really happy with how this turned out. We rejuvenated our QK100. We got the sound profile back. We got that resurrected. We put a whole new keycap set, some GMK on here, thanks to Omnitype for getting this at a really, really good price. And of course, it's back in the rotation. So, and man, I love having this little screen. I got my little cup of coffee here in the mornings, and then I'll switch it to either my walking duck or my waves. I'm gonna have to get some red graphics in here now, something with a little more red to it. So anyways, thank you very much for coming along for this rejuvenation of the board. I'll probably do that with other boards as we go along here. This was one of the first boards I got, and I feel like I have so much more of a so much more knowledge about what sound I like and how to achieve that. So thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time. Peace.